And here it is. This is the story I'm going to be reading. My Little Pony, Morphing is Magic. I can tell you that I've searched YouTube several times to see if anyone's done a reading of this story, and it doesn't look like anyone has. And I'm sure some of you, then again, there are only a few of you, but I'm sure that some people, quite a few people, read the Animorphs series as kids. I remember I used to love that series, and, well, when I discovered this, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So, yeah. This is, a story. I specify things a lot, I know. I'm so awesome at specification. Anyways, yeah, so here is the description. Twilight and the other elements of harmony have saved the land of Equestria from Nightmare Moon, Discord, and the Changeling Army. But now they face perhaps our biggest challenge yet. A challenge that lurks behind smiling faces and friendly eyes. A challenge that threatens to overtake the entirety of Equestria and enslave its inhabitants. But the ponies won't face this threat alone. Help comes in the form of the most unlikely of companions. 4 teenagers, a hawk, and a blue centaur. So clearly you can tell, we're in for a ride. Then again, we were probably already in for a ride. But, like, just the title and the picture made it fairly obvious that we were already in for a ride. Anyways, this is the longest story I'm going to be reading so far. So yeah, because this one is currently at 48 chapters in length, 135,179 words total, and this is incomplete. So yeah, I've only actually read the first, half of them. Coincidentally, the first half of them were all posted on the 1st of December last year. December 1st, 2012. Anyways, so let us get started with Chapter 1. My name is Jake. That's my first name, obviously. I wish I could tell you my last name, or where I live, or the name of my school, but I can't. It's too dangerous. See, you may not know this, but Earth is not only inhabited by humans anymore. For a while now, a secret alien invasion has been happening. They call themselves Yeerks, tiny little slugs who squeeze into your ear, so they can take over a person's body and mind. When they do this, you're reduced to nothing but a bystander, a prisoner inside your own mind. You watch as the Yeerk goes to your school, lies to your family, speaks through your mouth, and infests your friends. All while you can do nothing but scream and wail in the dark confines of your own mind. They've already taken countless worlds beyond our own, including the Taxons and the Hork-Bajir. And now they want us. You might be wondering why we know about the invasion if it's supposed to be a secret. Well, some time ago, myself and some of my friends were walking home, and we happened upon a dying alien. His name was Elfangor, an Andalite, a bizarre cross between a human, scorpion, and a blue deer. He told us, that is, me and my 4 friends, of the invasion. I bet you're thinking, so all we have is a bunch of teenagers against an army of advanced aliens? We're so dead. Well, you'd be right, except for one thing. Elfangor, the alien, gave us one last gift to aid us in our fight, the power to morph into any animal we wish, once we've acquired its DNA. With this gift, we've been able to strike major blows against the Yeerks. Not enough to drive them back, but enough to slow them down. Enough to give Earth a fighting chance. Which is why you might find it odd that we'd leave Earth unprotected for a time, as we fought a new threat. On an entirely new world, in every meaning of the word. I still don't understand why Eric called a meeting so suddenly. It's not like him at all, Marco complained as he rested against one of the barn's old timbers. Marco's been my best friend for as long as I can recall. Complaining is his favorite pastime, with making horrible jokes being a close second. "If you wanted us to come so unannounced, then it must be important," Cassie said. Her parents owned the barn we were meeting in, since they use it as an environmental clinic. You know, they'd find injured foxes or deer, or whatever, and bring them back here to nurse them back to health. As such, Cassie's grown up around animals and pretty much loves them. Having wild animals easily accessible has made it easy to acquire new morphs from time to time. "I just wish he'd show up already. We got this call about 40 minutes ago," Rachel said. She's my cousin, and at first may seem like your typical girly girl. She loves shopping, gymnastics, and talking about guys, but pray to God you never get her mad. Marco doesn't call her Xena for nothing. "Actually, you got the call 37 of your minutes ago." 7. Evan. Minutes. It's... Axe continued playing with sounds he found enjoyable. I should explain. Axe is another Andalite. We found him some time ago and rescued him. Andalites have no mouths and communicate via thought-speak, so whenever Axe is in his human morph, like he currently was, he gets distracted by various sounds he makes while speaking. And especially by taste. "Axe, they are everyone's minutes. They are my minutes. They are Cassie's minutes. They are your minutes," Marco cried. "Now we got the call 38 of your minutes ago." Marco collapsed into a nearby hay bale. "Guys, someone's coming off the path. They'll be here in about 3 minutes, Tobias said. He is what the Andalites call a Nathlet, a being who is permanently trapped in morph. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. See, morphing has a time limit. 2 hours in any morph, then you're stuck. Forever. You can't even try to require a new morph. Luckily for Tobias, however, he was able to regain his morphing powers, but his default form is still a red-tailed hawk. From his perch up in the rafters, he could easily see the winding path leading to the barn, and was acting as lookout. "Can you tell who it is?" I asked. "No, if there was a bit more light, then yes, but I don't see too well after sunset." I turned towards Cassie. "Are your parents due home anytime soon?" She shook her head. "No, my mom got called in for some emergency, and Dad's out of town for a few days." "Well, whoever they are, they're about to come in." We all turned to watch the door, somewhat apprehensively. Slowly, the doors opened, and a kind, brown-eyed boy stepped in. I relaxed, not even realizing I had been holding my breath. "Hey, Eric, how are things?" "Oh, you know, same old," he said, shrugging his shoulders. "While he may look like a normal kid, it's really an advanced hologram. Underneath it is an ivory-colored dog-like android. Eric is part of a race known as the Chi, who were built by a pacifist race known as the Pimalites. As such, the Chi are unable to commit the simplest act of violence. But I've seen what they can do. See, a while back, we found a Pimalite crystal that allowed Eric to rewrite his programming, and he destroyed a whole battalion of Yeerks in around 10 seconds. And I don't mean he just beat them bad. No, they were gone. After that, he decided never to go down that path again. Even so, the Chi are invaluable to us as spies." "So what's the word? Have the Yeerks decided to call it quits yet?" Marco asked, hopefully. A sad smile formed on Eric's face. "I wish that too, Marco. Unfortunately, we may have a bigger problem to deal with. I overheard a touching conversation between Visor 3 and another one, Visor 7, I think. They were speaking of a new planet, one that could win them a war." Everyone in the room perked up at that. Even the various animals in their cages seemed to quiet down. "Do you know what inhabits this world?" Axe asked. "No, they didn't discuss it too much. But they did say that there are lots of potential host bodies, ripe for harvesting. But there is some good news. It seems Visor 7 needs more troops to take this planet, so Visor 3 is sending some ships off today." "And? How does this help us?" Marco responded dryly, clearly unconcerned by what Eric was saying. "Well, a certain group of Andalite bandits could potentially sabotage the ships while they're still docked." There was an air of smugness to Eric's voice. Rachel practically leapt from her seat. "Well, what are we waiting for? Let's do this!" "Yes, ma'am, Xena Warrior Princess, ma'am," Marco said, and gave a mock salute. This got him a smack in the arm. "Eric, do you know who is supposed to be on board the craft?" Cassie piped up. Eric, for his part, glanced downwards. There are going to be 3 ships that I know of. One will be stocked with all manner of weapons, while the other 2 will be filled with Taxan, Orkbudger, and humans. His voice was heavy with defeat. From what I hear, there's going to be about 20,000 humans on board. Rachel spoke up again. Well, that settles it. We have to sabotage those ships. Keep those humans here on Earth. She turned to me, looking for approval. Everyone else has appointed me their leader, and it's usually up to me to make the calls. I hate it. Sometimes I wish I could pass the duty off to someone else, but most of the time I can see why it was made me. Prince Jake, if what Eric says is true, then allowing such a planet to fall into your control will surely lead to our defeat, Axe said. Axe, I already told you, don't call me Prince. Yes, Prince Jake. After a moment of consideration, I looked at them all. All right, we'll go in, do what damage we can, and then get out. I turned to Eric. Do you know when the ships are scheduled to leave? Eric nodded. They're supposed to leave tomorrow, around midnight. Currently they are stationed in the mountains, a good distance from humans who might stumble upon them, but close enough so they can get their troops up. I nodded back. Okay then. After we finish school, we meet up here and set out. I'll fly by the launch site during the day, scout out the place for us, Tobias volunteered. Rachel looked up at him. Just be careful, all right? Tobias swiveled his head around, looking at Rachel with those piercing hawk eyes. I'm always careful. For a moment, no one spoke. Axe broke the silence first, saying that he had to demorph soon. With that, both him and Tobias headed out to the forest, with Eric departing as well. Cassie walked over to the stables, saying she had to administer some medicine to an injured raccoon. After some convincing, Rachel agreed to stay with her, so that just left me and Marco to make the trek back home. We walked in silence for a time, Marco being unusually quiet. That worried me a little, since Marco was rarely at a loss for words. What's up, man? I asked. Marco sighed. I just feel like we're going to be really outnumbered tomorrow, and you can stake my life that they're going to be prepared for us. I could only nod. True, but it's not like we haven't fought against impossible odds before. I put my arm around his shoulders. Listen, if we do get into trouble, I give you full permission to blame me. I flashed Marco a grin, hoping I didn't look as nervous as I felt. Wow, fit that into one video? That's a bit of a surprise. Because last one, the Rainbow-X mouse cursor, well, Rainbow-Times mouse cursor, I guess, but I don't know, with shipping I always pronounce it X, because, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. But, yeah, with that one, it was barely put into 15 minutes. I had to cut out some stuff to make it work. But, yeah, I'm surprised this one got into 15 minutes, but, yeah. I have a bit of a hunch what that planet was, and not just because I've read this partially before. So, stay tuned, I guess. Not really. To find out. Yeah. Okay, bye.